Hey guys, I'm a little loopy. I've done a bunch of takes and I've screwed up a lot, so I'm trying to just focus. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. So far, so good. But today it is all about the PSB Synchrony B600 stand mount speaker. It looks just like that. Yeah, that's what it is. There's also a tower version, the T600. Now it was designed by Paul Barton. Now, Paul is one of these guys. He is a measurement guy. He measures a lot. And he does double blind tests. This is his methodology for designing speakers. And he's been doing this way a really long time. Matter of fact, PSB is about to celebrate their 50th anniversary next year in 2022. That's a major achievement. You know, that's good. Now, I remember my first exposure to PSB speakers was in the mid-90s, I'm pretty sure, and it was the PSB Stratus Gold. And that speaker blew me away. It was the flagship. Really powerful sounding speaker. Had brawn, but it also had refinement and just a beauty to its sound. Really, really striking in its time. And then not long after that, well, maybe the early 2000s, I heard the PSB Alpha, their entry-level stand-mount speaker. And I love that speaker. And I wrote about it many, many times for CNET and other places I was writing. By then, I was a reviewer. Regarding the subject at hand today, this speaker, well, the tweeter is a 1-inch titanium dome with a phase plug. The 6.5-inch is a woven carbon fiber driver with a cast aluminum basket. And they were both designed by Paul Barton. Paul Barton designs the whole thing. By the way, when I opened the B600 boxes, it just so happened I was opening them upside down. So I saw at the bottom of the speaker first, and it had isolation feet on the bottom of the speaker, or pre-mounted to the speaker. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. And as it turns out, they are designed by, they're not just any old isolation feet, they are designed by ISO Acoustics. The back of the speaker features a large bass port and also bi-wire connectors. I have to mention, by the way, the finish of this speaker, the piano black finish, is really stunning. But to tell you the truth, I wish I had asked for the satin walnut finish, because in pictures at least, that looks really spectacular. So it's now time to run down the numbers. And probably I'll start with the most important one, get it out of the way. The most important number is the price. The price is $2,500 a pair. Now, that's for the B600. And the tower version, the price is $8,000 a pair. But the specs for the B600 include impedance, which is rated at 6 ohms. There's no minimum number specified. Sensitivity is 88 dB. Oh, and the warranty is 5 years. I'm going to try to really make sure I throw that in more reviews, because it is an important number, the warranty. In this case, it is 5 years. Now I'm going to put up the complete specs right now. For a touch of class and probably some increased rigidity, the front baffle is aluminum clad. It's a 5mm thick piece of aluminum. Oh, and of course, this episode would not be complete if it didn't have an Audiophiliac viewer system of the day at the conclusion. So please stick around for that. So starting with this review, I'm going to change my format a bit and try to include more vinyl playback. And I have on loan a Technics 1500C turntable, and I used that with a Shit-Manny phono preamp. The preamp was my Past Labs HPA-1, which is a headphone amp, but you can use it as a preamp, and I certainly do. And the power amp was a Mytek Brooklyn. And alternatively, I used an Atoll IN50 Signature integrated amplifier. It is made in France, it is very affordable, and it's terrific, and I'm going to be doing a review of that shortly. And as for the digital source, because I did play it probably a lot more digital than records, my digital source was my Oppo, and it is mine, I bought it years ago, my Oppo UDP-203 Blu-ray player. And I did not use a separate DAC. I just used the Oppo on its own. So, it's a little noisy here in Brooklyn today, so if that comes through, I apologize. The first record I played today, and it was an LP, was REM Murmur. Now, I was a fan back then, and I kind of lost it, and then I started buying these REM LPs that I used to own. I started rebuying them. And I'm back with REM. I really, really like REM. But this one, their first album, Murmur, that's what I used for this review. What a great record. And it really had some kick to it, some juice, some verve that just kept moving forward. Man, that's what that band did for me. It wasn't even the lyrics. I never followed the lyrics particularly, but just the energy they put out was what was the appeal for me. And I compared the LP, which I just bought again, with a CD. And you know what? The CD is a pale imitation. So all these years of me hearing REM digitally, it's one of the reasons I guess lost interest in them was, Although I will say that box set of their BBC live sessions is actually really, really good. But anyway, regarding the B600, yeah, cranking Murmur over the 600s was a blast. So Paul Barton definitely upped his game with this speaker. There's some life force that I'm getting that I wasn't getting before. So I was into it. And like I said, the CDs that I played, they were good, but didn't have that kick. Now they had clarity, they had a precision to them, absolutely. And the LPs were softer, but just they moved me more. So the differences between analog and digital were very, very clear over the B600. The next record up was Pink Floyd's Animals. And I picked it because of its density. The mix has a lot going on in it, and the clarity that I was getting from the B600 was very, very impressive. And Roger Waters' bass just had this drive to it, this muscularity it was visceral. I felt the music. Now at this point, I put the B600 aside to do a comparison with the KEF LS50 Meta. Now the LS50 Meta is a smaller speaker, and you know what? It sounded definitely smaller and less dynamically alive and less visceral. But there was an evenness to the tone of the LS50, which I really, really liked, and I felt that by comparison, the B600 was more height, had more, well, it was not as flat sounding, I'll put it that way, as the LS50. So the LS50 is a more neutral sounding speaker. The B600 pulled ahead because it has the ability to just move more air and just energize the room much more completely than the LS50 Meta can. PSB claims the bass response extends down to 50 hertz, which is decent, but actually I was getting deeper bass than that. I was going into the mid-40s, and it still had a very healthy output into that deep bass region. I realized I didn't make mention of the sound of the tweeters, because those titanium domes, they don't sound like metal dome tweeters. They sound like soft dome tweeters in the best sense, because they're really easy to listen to and yet highly resolving. Now I'm a fan of Billie Eilish, but I gotta say her new record isn't connecting with me just yet. So I played the previous record, and yeah, Billie's bounce, yes, her bounce, her energy on that record is incredible. The production really works. The bass parts are phenomenal. And yeah, I just was getting so much out of the B600 with that, and her singing was so good. I mean, she's weird. She's a weird kid, and she's going to have a long and fruitful career. So from Billie, I needed to calm down after Billie, so I popped on Frank Sinatra's "Only the Lonely." It's a CD, and by the way, so was Billie. Billie was on CD. And Frank, what can I say? He is the master of phrasing, of nuance, and power delivery too. And just a great vocal test for a speaker, for any speaker. But in this case, the B600 just put Frank in the room. He was right there, and it was just a thrill. Now, Nelson Riddle's orchestra and those arrangements are just fantastic. I think that's the best. If I had to say what's the best Frank Sinatra record of all, studio one at least, yeah, I would say Only the Lonely is the place to start. Now, when I was younger, I didn't get Frank Sinatra. I had to get to, I don't think it was till my 60s before I really appreciated Frank Sinatra's mastery. And by the way, the string sound and the dynamics and the interplay of all the instruments, so well done over the B600. Switching back to the LS50, the sound was phenomenal, really, really good. And as I said, tonally more even, but it didn't convey Frank as well as what I was getting out of the B600. Okay, Steve, so what do you really think of the PSB Synchrony B600 stand mount speaker? I like it. I really do. But I have to say, I have to admit that it took time. I didn't like it that much right out of the box. Now, I had heard it was fully broken in, so the broken in thing wasn't part of it. It wasn't quite lining up with what I thought it was. So what I thought it was and what it really was weren't the same. And I was kind of, I like it, but I don't get it. So I just kept listening. This is my job, listening, right? So I kept listening and listening. And record after record, the dots were connecting. And I said, no, this is a really, really good speaker. Now with the Past Labs, MyTech combination with a lot of power, the speaker was more alive, more dynamic. It played loud with greater ease. It was really exciting. But when I switched over to the Atoll IN50 Signature, which I believe is 50 watts a channel, even though I wasn't playing it super loud, there were things that I actually liked better with the Atoll. It just seemed more even. It seemed flatter. It seemed less mid-range forward with the Atoll IN50. So, yeah, the amplifier matching is part of the deal with this speaker, because that didn't come until later. So yeah, I think this is a terrific speaker. I really, really do. And now it is that time, that very special time for the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. You know what? These rather unusual speakers come from Tim. Actually, they're made by Linkwitz Labs, and they are LX521.4s. It's actually a kit, and the drivers are from Matisound. He has two Emotiva A500 power amps, and each amp has 5 channels in it because the LX521s are active, fully active. There's also a mini DSP 4X10HD equalizer crossover, a mini DSP DD-RC22D running DRAC room correction, and last but not least, there is an Oppo BDP103 Blu-ray player. Tim also noted that the Samsung Plasma TV has a definitive technology soundbar and subwoofer, but is not in any way connected to his 2-channel system. Thanks, Tim. We are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac, and we collectively, all of us together, have just surpassed 200,000 subscribers. And I want to thank everyone, all of you, all 200,000 of you who put me over the top. And an extra special thanks to my patrons. Thank you guys for the support. It really means a lot. Now, if you have yet to subscribe to this channel, yeah, let's do it. Because now the next goal is 250,000. So that's gonna take a while, but it's one subscription at a time, and that's what counts. Because everybody starts with 0 subscribers, right? And you add them one at a time, and you keep going up. Hopefully you keep going up. And that's what I've been doing for a little over 4 years. And I love what I do. I love speaking into the camera and talking to you guys directly. This is way better than writing. I like writing, but this is a whole other level of communication, which I love. So yes, please subscribe. And by the way, I keep hearing that the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, likes thumbs up, those like things. So please like and subscribe to this channel. And yes, there is a thing called Patreon, and that's the place you can help support the channel, and you can get there by going to patreon.com/Audiophiliac, and there is a link to that below. And now I can say my work here is at last complete. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I really, really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.